What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Convo Sutra. Coming to you from Hollywood, we have a fantastic show coming up for you. I'm joined with some familiar voices and some new guests. For our audio listeners and people tuning in for the first time, why don't we just do a quick intro?
Hi, everyone. I'm Hedi. Great to be here.
What do you do, Hedi?
Okay, so, all kinds of things, right?
Okay, let's pass. You failed this question, Ritu.
Don't feel bad, Hedi, because the first time he asked me that question, I was like, yeah, I'm Ritu, and I'm still trying to figure out what I do in life. But I help you figure out what you want to do with yours. I will say by now, I am clearer. So I do have Is Wellness with Ritu now. Mm-hmm. And basically, I do energy healing, Reiki. I do this thing called Releasing the Inner Magician. And I also do some coaching and guidance work.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Locke, and Locke Rana. I'm an actor, writer. I've known Tarun for probably like 20 years. I was in his web series way back then, ahead of its time. And here we are.
I used to do a web series called Desi OC, and both Hedi and Luck were in it. And Ritu, sorry.
You know what? It's okay. I live in the OC.
You have no acting ability, so it's great that you all came out here. When was the last time you guys connected?
Hedi, dude, probably that little reunion episode we did.
That's
I think,
right. We did one. Yes.
Were you in?
That was the last time.
Yeah, I remember. I think everyone was there, but probably it's been 15 years at least. I think.
Wow, was that 15 years ago?
Maybe that one was like 10.
Here I am trying to lie about my age.
Now, you keep in contact with your friends from work? Because I see you all the time, like hanging out with everybody. In fact, you posted the picture on Instagram, and there's so much support. I'm like, nobody supports me at all, but you actually have real friendships.
Whatever. What do you mean? I always say, "Oh God, I need to go to his shows for sure." In my mind, in my
You were
heart,
10 minutes
I'm
late for
there
this
with
podcast.
you.
Support.
Some things never change.
You know what it is?
I live so far from here. That's what it is.
I live further than you.
Yeah, you're right. Damn it.
I used to
Okay.
come from
It's
OC
okay.
back then too, by the way.
You
When we used
did?
to shoot, Desi OC.
Wow, okay.
From Fullerton, so.
So I guess I always think I'm faster than I am. I always think I'm fast, but maybe I am slower than I think I am.
You want some tips on how to... I don't do my makeup at home. I do it in the car.
Dude.
So I know. I'm that girl. And like even today I had like the roller on top of my head and like 2 clips with my hairpin back. And I was like doing my makeup while I'm driving. Oh God, I hope nobody hears that. But I mean, I'm on a podcast. So yeah, but I
Stop
do my
and go
makeup.
traffic. Or
I have a Tesla, so it's kind of nice. But my friends will vouch that even when I've not had a Tesla that kind of does the auto drive thing, like I'm pretty balanced at being able to do multiple things while driving.
Good, that's good.
People who are watching outside of Hollywood, if you leave at a certain time, you're screwed in traffic. You've got to really calculate stuff in advance. Do you have that problem, like when you drive around?
not at all. You just like, if I need to go somewhere, I just like, you just put it in and it says 50 minutes and you just leave.
No,
okay, so
no, you have to
I
put a
don't-
buffer.
I've lived in LA my whole life. Like, I don't have like.
No, this
it's
is
never.
this is what I've learned.
Yeah. You want to put
have
10 minutes. Yeah, you want to do 10 minutes.
15-minute buffer.
Yeah, 10.
Because
okay,
it'll
that's fine.
like my ETA today would have been 10 minutes early, and I only ended up coming 2 minutes early but I had planned for that buffer.
Okay, yeah.
15 minutes. Yeah.
So
That's true, yeah.
Usually it takes like 45 minutes or something
Yeah.
to get here from where I live.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say this is a Desi thing, a South Asian thing, and I just realized you're not even Indian. By the way,
Yeah, what's your excuse for being late? You're not even Desi.
what are you exactly? You want it for our viewers?
yeah,
This is
sure.
diversity, though.
So I was born in Iran, so
Yeah.
I'm Persian, and full Persian.
Okay.
Nothing mixed in there. I did the DNA test, and it was just like all the way out. Although I was 1% Indian. Is that on?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
On my report, it's Indian/Pakistan.
So your great-grandfather slept like a servant in the house, like an Indian servant back in the day?
Wait, maybe she was a princess kidnapped by some Indian into
yeah.
India.
Yeah. Could be.
Well, you gotta be the dad.
I did 23andMe as well because a lot of people are like, oh, you don't look Indian. So I was like, you're right. Let me check. Even though I know like my parents are like 2000% Indian. And so I was like, I'm still going to do it. I did it and I turned out to be 99.8% South Asian. So like there was like no mixing, which I was a little disappointed.
Same.
I was like,
They didn't get
I'm like
far.
100% pure Desi ghee over here. I wanted.
0.02% mixing.
Well, I was trying to figure out where the other part was, but those were still parts of India that
Okay.
just got divided at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah,
was no
mine is
mixing.
also just like your area.
Yeah.
Iran, Mesopotamia.
I feel like everybody just always wants to be mixed. Like they always like throw in like, especially now, people are like throwing in, oh yeah, dude. Like I was talking to, it's I guess white guy, right? Like I was asking some white guy, I'm like, yeah, you're just white, right? He's like, oh no, I'm like, Irish and Italian and then Native American. I'm like, come on, man. Like a quarter Native. People are so hung up on being so different that they gotta like. To me, it seems fabricated, a lot of these things, but
Maybe they're trying to make themselves seem more interesting.
yeah,
Because if
exactly.
you're
That's what I'm
just-
saying. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
white, and then everyone's like, oh.
But to be fair, a white person isn't just white. Like
Yeah.
I know.
they do have
Yeah. But I'm
something
saying
that they
that's
come
what they-
from.
Yeah.
They do come from somewhere. They need to and it's good if they know it because I actually personally find it really bland when somebody is like, oh, I'm white. I'm like, oh, from where? Nebraska. Wait, no, like where, like what parts of you were white?
But don't you also feel like it's also you can monetize it better in today's society? Now it's like cool to be ethnic, especially
Yes, that's so
Yes.
true.
if
Yeah,
you're on
that's what I'm-
camera,
yeah.
jobs, not even just in Hollywood, anywhere. So if you're just a straight vanilla person,
Yeah.
it works against you.
Wait, so I have a question
100%.
actually. You bring up a good question because you guys are all in like the acting-ish space.
I'm not. I'm kind of retired.
Obviously, we know I have no acting chops, but I'm assuming if you were on Desi OC and you were on Desi OC and you've been like, there's some acting involved here. So like, if you guys are still active in it, like, are you still getting stereotyped for roles, or are you getting diverse opportunities?
No, there's a lot more roles out there now, but that's why I brought it up. Is like I'm just saying, not to like harp on the white guy, but it's just anybody. It's everybody is trying to throw in some ethnicity of like, oh, I was my great grandpa's cousin is 1/18th, so I'm like Afghani or whatever it is. It's for a purpose. It's because being ethnic is in. So I need to say this. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I'm Irish. I'm this. Quarter Native American though. Like, come on, man. I feel it's fabricated. It's being said to me and done to me because you want something out of it. Any race. I'm not just. It's not white. It's anybody.
What kind of characters or roles or like ethnicities do you claim when you're auditioning?
So back in the day, they would call you in more for like just anything in that region, and they still do, right? Like Middle Eastern, like whatever, like Persian, this, that. Like they'll just call you in for everything, right? Iranian, because it's just that part of the world. And then back in the day, they would throw in other stuff too, like sometimes Spanish or whatever, because visually you could pass for that, like we could pass for that, but. Now they don't do that stuff. The Spanish stuff, all that stuff is out, but it's still, that region is still in. Like I can still go for Middle Eastern, Arab, all that stuff, but they want to find an Arab. They don't want.
What's so funny
me.
though? That's reversed, and I don't want to harp too much about Hollywood, but when I was acting a lot, it was almost like you had to be more, Americanized, like your names, because it was almost uncomfortable. Like I heard like Cal Penn shorten his name like Cal Penn Modi the Cal Penn. I got new headshots that said, what's a cool American name? And I said, Evan Shetty would be cool. So, so I got these headshots at Evan, and I was like, I looked at it every day and I was like, I cannot be Evan for the rest of my life.
What about the reverse? I feel like, what about if you're more ethnic and they always try to make themselves a little bit more white? Do you feel like now it's not like this anymore? You know what I mean? The other way around. Like
I
you
feel
were
like,
saying, like you're trying to be more white.
So they whitewash people. Like it's like obvious, right? Like any sort of ethnic person that's like the lead on a TV show is usually first and foremost half. He's mixed. It's like you could go through any like a lot of the Disney movies. It's like somebody's half black, half white. They basically tend to find people, in my opinion, like, hey, we're gonna get this ethnic guy, but we need this ethnic guy that has white standards. That's still pretty much white overall. Like he grew up like me. Like people will say pretty much, yeah, you're from California. You say dude and man. You're just like a white dude, but with brown skin.
Right.
They're not gonna put in an ethnic person as a lead on on something big.
Hedi, as the person perspective representing all of Iran here, did you have that problem?
No, I feel like I come across like people that are ethnic that always throw in something that is a little bit white into them. You know, oh, I'm Persian, I have Italian in me, or something like this, or even Indian who say I have Persian in me, or like somebody always throw in something if you're more ethnic or darker, and you're just trying to throw something to make yourself lighter.
When you date too, I mean, not to make this all about
You
romance.
love the dating
No, but
topic.
when you start dating people, that's also an issue of like, is he is he a Gori? Is he a white guy? Is he Indian? Like I guess you start giving up after a while. You're like, is the person a good fit?
I think if a person is acting educated and is
Acting. I hope
not
he is.
acting. Yeah. Sorry.
Most of them are acting.
We said so much about acting. Now I'm like
Pretending to be educated.
he's acting to me. Well, what I'm trying to say. If he's acting educated, that's not good. If he is educated. So no. So obviously, if somebody is educated and has good manners and is all the standards that you're looking in for, does it really matter at that point anymore?
Yes.
So if you
Lower
met
class.
some guy from Walmart and he was just like a good person, would you be like, I'm in?
I said educated.
So
I
maybe
even said Walmart.
maybe he's a
What
manager
educated
and
person
went to.
works at Walmart?
Because of the upbringing I had, which was very traditional, not very, but like moderately traditional. I grew up going to the temple, and I grew up with a lot of Indian friends. Obviously, I was on an Indian TV show reviewing Bollywood films. So I had like all these rose-tinted glasses and like this conditioning. And so I actually thought that like I could not actually date somebody that was non-Indian, but that's because I thought I was so Indian that I was like, well, what am I gonna have in common with them? When I moved out of LA, I started dating all races, anybody. And I went to that whole like, if they're just a good person and if they have certain qualities that are a match, that's what I'm looking for, right?
Right.
So
With that, I want to say something to
Yeah.
that when you're done.
so that was
You want
Right?
to say something when she's done?
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't
We're being
forget.
This is such an organic conversation.
No, but like that was my
Yeah.
thing. And in the process, I did meet people that changed directions of their career and like wanted to do the startup world or whatever it was. Going back to your Walmart comment, I think it's not so much about it's a nice person, they work at Walmart. It's more like, okay, why are they at Walmart? Like, is that just like the ceiling of like what they want to accomplish?
See,
in
but that's the
life?
difference between like, I think guys, that's in my opinion, men and women, because if there's some smoking hot Walmart greeter that's hitting on me, I'm like, I couldn't care less if you have your GED or high school
Sure.
dropout.
But is that because you're thinking in the moment?
Because I want to hook up with her, yeah.
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 Okay.
Because you're not thinking long
That's
term.
different.
Yeah.
Girls think long term.
Yeah,
women
so
short
what were
term.
you thinking when,
Oh,
when I was
okay.
saying what
So
I was saying?
I was going to say. Oh, so now you yeah, that.
Yeah.
You should have
Wait,
just
hold on.
interrupted.
She's talking about dating.
Both of you should do a podcast on your own, by the way.
So here's the difference. If you do have a strong cultural background,
Yeah.
that you have, like I think in Persian culture, Indian culture,
Yeah.
they have this whole big cultural background, and that makes a difference in who you're picking, because once you get married and you have kids, that's when you realize how important your upbringing is, because then you start either conflicting or having the same ideas on how to raise children or like certain morals. Like somebody from Nebraska or who marries, whose parents are white, like trailer park, who comes to marry a somebody.
I'm not
like
digging you out of this. Like
maybe
me.
doctor.
I'm a doctor.
An Indian guy. Yeah. Was that
Indian guy.
First of all, I grew up in New
Parents who
Hampshire.
are-
That's not far
Yeah,
from
he actually grew up.
Also, I will say, I I used Nebraska. I just pinned it. However,
Did you say Nebraska?
Sorry, Nebraska.
I did. Actually, one of my first bosses at when I worked at Nestle is from Nebraska, and she's brilliant. And one of my really close friends is also from Nebraska. By the way, they're both white, but they're
I don't know, it's Kentucky.
very
then.
smart and very accomplished. So it's not to say.
I was just trying to make
No,
it
I agree.
yeah,
Because
point.
I
Extreme.
actually initially brought up Nebraska and just picked it. If there's somebody in, let's just say, Middle America who hasn't traveled, who hasn't expanded their views, and they're kind of in a box or a container, and like they just kind of feel like this is good, this is all I want from life, it may or may not fit well with your values.
I just feel like people overcomplicate dating and relationships so much. Like it's just completely like literally like what you're saying is 100% true, but it's like so obvious. You're literally saying like you gotta have something in common with somebody. Yeah, like so. I don't. Yeah, like I never understand where the problem comes from. Like I think for women, guys, tend to do creepy stuff. So I can see that women will have more weird first dates and stuff. But like what I hear is like every person other than the person they're with was some terrible date. It's like, what are you talking about?
I went on a date, by the way, last week. Yeah, I went on a Bumble date. I put myself out there, and I met some Latina girl she was in Chino, and I met her halfway. I tried to purposely just take off the blinders, because before I'd always be like, oh, she's got to look like this. She's got to be this ethnicity. And I was like, well, let me just meet with someone who's excited. And I met with someone, it was like kind of long distance. And so there's no expectations, but it felt good just to put myself in a different space. And I wasn't thinking about education or aspirations.
Putting no limits to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with the complication of dating. I think nowadays we're making everything a little bit more difficult. Also, communication. Like, so this guy, right, like texting me all the time,
let's
right?
get him.
For
Yeah.
example.
Nail him on the podcast. We want to name, who is he, Hedi? Who is this person?
Basically, her
right,
and I are
that
not
keeps-
going to walk out of here with getting any dates, because they're going to be like, well, shoot, these girls are going to talk about their experiences on the podcast.
Who keeps texting
No,
you?
like it's a person, like randomly writes me, right? Like writes me, and then
What does he write you? Let's start
I'm
with
not
that.
interested. First of all, I'm not interested in that person anyway.
Let's back up here. So
Yeah.
is there history between you and this person?
No, I met this person out. He asked for my number, and I was just like, okay, casually giving. He's an attractive dude. It's not like I'm
Doctor?
Like, a doctor.
Okay. You want to
No,
get
he's not a
the
doctor.
details.
But
What is he?
I,
Inquiring minds must know everything.
How did he get your number? Because you're attractive. So what did he say
we
to
were
you?
at a dinner. We were sitting at the dinner table, and we were a group of people. But we had a conversation. It was nice, I mean, we were having fun, laughing, but it wasn't where I'm thinking, oh my God, I like this guy. I want to be like, nothing like that. And then when I was leaving, he's like, can I have your number? And I was like, sure, why not? So he texted me, and this back and forth, it was just when I respond, and I feel like
He's a dud,
the
is what you're
approach
saying.
was weird. Okay, so he's trying to write me and get respond, and I didn't respond always when he wanted to, and then he would be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I try or something like this.
This
And then
guy
I'm like,
sucks.
okay, I'm like, what exactly you should try? I mean, did you ask me out for a date? Something
What did you
He
try?
writes me
Yeah.
a picture of him going surfing, and he sends me. I'm like, okay.
He sent you a picture of him going surfing?
Yeah,
Oh my
right.
God.
For example, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So what
What do I do with this? Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, nice. So then he's like,
So you sent a picture of you
surprise me,
cooking?
call-
You're like, here's me cooking.
he's like, well, I guess you're not interested. But I'm like, okay, what was your approach to this? Did you ask me out on a date, or nothing came like that? I
So-
mean, he was at texting.
So he was just
but
making
the conversation
conversation,
was not good.
and then it never led to him saying, "Hey, let's go to a second date," or
But it
a
was-
first date.
yeah, he didn't even
Okay.
ask me out. He could have asked me out for some,
Yeah. So this guy's just an idiot.
But he thought he was so cool and
Well, he's
quiet,
surfing. I mean,
and
who
he's
would not be
upset
into that?
of not me responding like that. But I'm like, how is your approach to this? There was no
Yeah.
there was no like
Guys are terrible
hand
with that,
and
yeah.
feet. Like I mean, I feel like the
Yeah, they are.
communication is
Guys are the worst, dude. Guys have absolutely no manners. They have no pickup skills. They just like, and I don't want to say pickup skills because it's not even a pickup. It's like just talk. Here's a girl. Hi,
Yeah,
how
like,
you doing?
be
My name
yourself
is
and
Locke.
say-
I'm just gonna say whatever I'm gonna say, and then she's gonna say, "Get the fuck out of here," and then I'm gonna get all right, and then I'm out of here.
After you
I don't-
say hi, this is my name. Like it's similar to texting. Like you have to engage the person.
Yeah, obviously
Yeah,
that guy's an
engage
idiot.
it.
That guy's an
Engage.
idiot.
I
Yeah.
think he was trying
Or-
to engage by showing like, hey, look, I'm up to an activity. And then I think he would have wanted you to be like, oh, cool, you surf. And then, you know.
I feel like the whole texting back and forth, it's just like, how much can you do on text to get somebody's attention in order for you feeling some sort of way for that person? And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
always you and everyone's like, don't write these big text messages, just keep it short. Okay, you keep it
cute.
short, but then it's like, who do I even know? What is this person? And then it doesn't come to like an initial, like an date, and you never talk on the phone.
That's
and,
game
and
101 for guys.
Yeah, and
You've
then
got
this
to set a
whole
date.
game.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
this
God,
guy
I hate-
is
this
terrible.
is-
I keep saying because like literally all he needed to do was, hey, so
Let's
what's
have
your-
a drink
what's
or
your
something.
plan?
And that's
yeah,
it.
what's your schedule
yeah.
next
And
week?
that's it. Once
Is
it's
the
locked,
typical-
that's
yeah.
it.
And then
Especially
that's
because
it.
he had already seen you and you had already seen him. So it's
Yeah.
not like you needed to like cross check if you were like catfishing or real or like
Yeah,
even
he met
attractive. It
me.
was like, that's already done. Now it's like, let's hang out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, I mean, I know we all have to do this game, right?
Isn't it just like not even confined to to dating and relationships? I just find I have a very poor view of society and people in general, as you can probably tell. But like, and I don't know, it doesn't bother me because I believe it and I can back it up with facts. But people in general don't know how to communicate. Like people,
Yes,
like
I agree.
I see brothers and sisters and I
Yeah.
haven't talked to my brother in years. Oh, like dude, I'll see sisters and like sometimes you want to go to a restaurant. Like this is where people cannot communicate at all. It's like when you want to go to a restaurant, there's a group of people and somebody says, "Hey, let's all go out after this." Oh, cool. There's a Thai place down there. Is everybody cool with that? Everybody always just. I don't like. I don't have time for that. I don't. No, I don't. Tell me, do you want to go to this place or not? Yes, no. No is an acceptable answer. People are so afraid to say no. So am I. I'm afraid to say no, but I give some other weird answer and get the fuck out of there.
What's the weird answer?
Like ask me something and I'll like. If I'm afraid to say no, I'll give you a weird answer. I don't know. Like it depends what it is.
First of all, it's always interesting for me to see, because I've known Luck for 20-something years, so I know his personality. I know how Hedi is. But like to see someone interact with Luck, because sometimes Luck will just go off, and it's fun to see that. I understand what you're saying, and I've had this conversation with you, that I think there's some social mask. Even though you say you're not an actor, I think people are an actor in real life. Like
Yeah.
people play roles, and even when they're with friends. I mean, for me, conventionally, I can't just say my true thoughts. I've got to constantly filter my jokes, my thoughts, because I know I can just go over the line. I mean, do you push it?
I don't
your
push it at all. Like I
Okay.
just talk like this, like all day
Yeah.
long. Like I don't like, but I'm not saying anything. Like if somebody's uncomfortable, she was clearly uncomfortable when you were asking her details about her date, and that's what I said. Like,
Well, I was thinking about how to say,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
it was
explain
just-
this
she's-
person without giving names.
Yeah,
or-
she's like, she's doing this and playing games and
Games.
and not games, but I mean like you're trying to.
She didn't want to hurt the other person,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you want to
I
go
get
around
it.
it, which
I
is
get it.
perfectly
Yeah.
acceptable. But I'm not the type of guy like. Most guys would push and go, "Hey, Hedi, come on, tell us." Like, I don't got time for that, dude. She's uncomfortable. Leave her. Like, just move on. Like,
Yeah.
so. But I'm gonna say that. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it in a weird way. Like, I think we just need to let people be and we just need to move on. Like, that's how people talk. No one's talking like real people. People talk like an idea. You're right. People talk like an idea of what their thing is.
I actually think that people are speaking how they are, especially in media. But I see people follow these news channels, and I feel like they identify with personalities because
You
Nobody's
think like people on CNN and like all that stuff is like
well,
speaking the truth?
they're reflecting ideas that people are thinking in their own head, and they're like, "Oh, identify." I'm thinking of like podcasters, huge podcasters, and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Completely
But
different,
also,
yeah.
I mean, there are very, I guess, opinionated news shows where people can identify with voices. So I feel like it's reflected back to them, and that's why people are so popular in society. Like even now, like what you guys are saying. Like I told Ritu this. Like I love the fact that Ritu will just say her thoughts. Like no matter what it is, she'll talk about her dates. The comments I've gotten and the messages were, man, I can identify with Ritu because she speaks authentically. And that's something which I think is undervalued.
Well, can I say something
thought
to
of
that? With
That no answer? Can I just say that real quick? I just want to say that real quick.
Yes.
So like, for example, if you
We all
said,
have
hey, hey, let's all go to this Thai place afterwards. Like, and let's say I don't want to go. But like people get so worked up sometimes when you like, say no. That's why I would be scared to say no, because I'd be like, everybody wants me to go. Everybody's going. I feel weird. Everybody's like, come on, Locke, go. So that's when I'm like, I want to say no, but I don't want to say no because I feel bad. So then I would just lie. I would just say, I got to go to the airport. Or, I mean, nothing, I guess that's stupid, but I would just say, oh yeah, I got to get back and, I got to give my cat medication. And that's it. And I'm done.
No,
Period.
but that's the thing, though.
But
like,
this is
I'd rather.
indecisiveness.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
indecisiveness.
They
It's-
don't know what
yeah.
they want.
But that's something else. Like that's not like, for example, like
Yeah.
being able to say no is a great quality, and you should be able to own it. So for example, if you asked me, do you want to go to the Thai restaurant? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. It's literally because I don't know if I'm feeling out.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. It's literally because I don't know if I'm feeling out Thai, right? But I will come back with like another suggestion maybe and be like, no, it's a little too hot for Thai food. How about sushi, right?
Yeah, but he's
Yeah, but you
saying
gave an
people-
answer.
yeah,
You
that's
gave
right.
an answer though.
He's
I'm saying
talking
people don't
about
give
people-
answers.
But then if I really didn't want to go, right, then I wouldn't lie. I don't like to lie, period. I would just say, no, you guys go ahead. I'll join another time. That's it.
I want to hear Hedi's thought before I move on.
Oh gosh, I always need to jump right away, and otherwise I forget my thought.
It's okay.
Just jump in the
Don't worry
middle
about it.
next time.
Let's jump in. If you have a thought,
When you're
just say.
saying, authentic self, right? Okay, so you guys know Robert Greene, right?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. So
Was he the guy texting you?
I am always trying to be my authentic self. Obviously, I mean, just who I am. That's my personality. But I feel like now that I read his stuff, I feel like I'm confused because it kind of seems like he's saying not to always be bluntly yourself.
What are we referencing here? Which book are we talking about?
48 Laws of Power.
You're
You're talking about 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, you can't be telling people no to their face. Like
You can't be
no,
like,
there's certain people that will never talk to you again if you say no about
or
something.
even yourself, like you're.
It's a social dance. Everything's a social dance.
Yeah.
hold on.
So even like,
What are you referencing in the book? Like,
for
what does he say?
example, the 48 Laws.
Yeah.
Laws of Human Nature, both books, they kind of make the reference like you are yourself, but at the same time, when you gotta know how to be with who.
Yeah, but that's
in a
like
way.
teaching you manipulation.
Yeah, it does. It does
But
actually.
when you're being authentic, you're not trying to manipulate a situation. You might be mindful of how you're communicating, and you may, like, for example, like I can tell with Lux style, maybe it's very in your face, and
Like
some people,
style.
yeah, it can maybe be a
Like
little.
style.
Absolutely. People
It can be a little
yeah.
abrasive, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's your style of communication versus like my style of communication. At times can be very blunt,
Yeah, but it's
and
like,
at times can be
okay,
softer.
but for example, if you want to be you or you want to be your authentic self, and you don't care what happens down the road, who comes by, who leaves because they get offended or not. This is more like teaching you how not on your way to wherever you want to go, just like offend people.
That
and
48
make
Laws
them
of Power is exactly what you said, Ritu, actually. So, like...
Manipulation. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's not manipulation is the negative word. We can always find a negative word for something, right? So we can always pick one thing and then just have a negative word for it, right? It's not manipulation. You can even say, so coercion is a negative word too, right? But we can keep moving in the direction of having it be a positive euphemism or something for manipulation. But it's essentially what you said, that one thing that you said, which is you're navigating. That's all he's teaching you, is you're navigating the situations.
That's
and
so true.
So it's not manipulation, coercion. it is in the sense of you're right, but then everything is manipulation and coercion. Like when you go into stores and everything, like almost every interaction is a micro manipulation. Then we just never
get what you want.
Yeah, it's nuances. Like even right now, me talking a little bit louder was because you were about to talk, and so I'm manipulating you, man. I'm manipulating you. You can stop talking.
So like you are not going to walk around throwing an adult tantrum everywhere.
No.
I did throw an adult tantrum yesterday, but that's another story.
What happened?
But
Yeah, you gotta tell. You guys made her.
I know.
I went to this wine bar yesterday. It was like kind of 4 p.m.-ish, 4:30. And I had been there before, and I wanted to go in their outdoor area and just sit on the couch, do my reading, you know, maybe have a glass of wine and just enjoy myself. So I go, it's empty when I get there. There's like only 2 people sitting and they've taken 1 couch. So I go and I sit on the other couch. I sit there and then the woman walks in and, you know, she has 2 other people. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, this couch is reserved. So I went and I sat somewhere else. I didn't really like where I was sitting. So there was a bigger table that I was like, you know what? I like the setting here. So like I sat there and I was like about to order a glass of wine. And then another woman comes out from the restaurant and is like, you can't sit here.
Like,
I mean,
are they racist?
I was starting to wonder that.
Yeah.
She was
Well,
like,
why? I mean, restaurants have tables that are reserved.
yeah, and this was like a big communal sort of table, but I was
Sit in that beanbag in the corner.
So she was like, you can't sit here. This table is reserved.
Yeah.
You can have it for 20 minutes. You
Why?
have
My
tables
question, why
reserved.
couldn't they give you a table that was okay for you to sit there?
Well, this is my thing. I am very particular about my spaces. Also, if the tables were reserved and you have reservations coming, put a sign there that says reserved.
So did you go off?
I was like, okay, this is the second time now that I have been asked to move around. I'm like, and it's kind of frustrating. I'm like, I didn't come here to move around. I came here to relax and enjoy a glass of wine. And she was like, I understand, but we have reservations coming. And I was like, yes, I realize that. I understand that. I was like, give me a moment. I will have to figure out what I need to do. So then I left.
Should have called Luck. Luck would have.
No, I mean, look. So like, my authentic self would be what I'm thinking in that moment, which would be this. Look, man, you've asked me to move once already. I'm not gonna move again. So I'm gonna stay here. Is there a manager? No, that's my authentic self, right?
Yeah, no, I love it.
No. This is what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna stay here. I don't got time for this. You're fucking annoying me. I'm gonna have my wine and then I'm gonna leave. You cannot say that to people.
So what would you have said?
I would just say, is there any place that I can sit? And then she would give
because
me a place.
I think both the scenarios, what you guys talked,
I wanna end
I
it.
see a lot of emotions,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what comes to surface.
But I would have to filter that into a reasonable response in public, which is whatever it would be in that moment. Like however upset. Look, okay, is there another place I can sit? Okay, cool. Am I good? Perfect, awesome. But I'm still thinking, you're annoying me. I don't like you.
Yeah.
You cannot say that. So when people say, "Oh, I say everything," no, you don't.
As I was driving here today, I in the mornings I'm like, I'm gonna hit so many landmines throughout the day. I'm so positive to be here, but I just know I'm gonna trip, and there's gonna be these moments where I'm gonna be like, "Argh." I went to some coffee shop. And I was asking the guy, I was like, is that a blueberry muffin? He goes, I don't know, it could be a raspberry. And I was like,
I hate those
and
type
I was
of
like,
people.
dude,
I know.
I was
you
so-
work
It's a
there. You
test.
don't know what muffin
See
it
it
is?
as a test.
and I was like, do you have cane sugar? He's like, no, stevia. I was like, how do you not have sugar at a coffee shop? And I was just, I felt my this is like the inner Tarun, like getting mad. And I was like, dude, just relax and go get a table and breathe some air. Like,
Yeah, but because this is our expectations, this is how we go out, and that's what we want it in response, right? If we want a reflection of that, and when we don't get it, that's when we get kind of upset or thrown off,
Agitated,
and I think this is how life is.
Yeah.
You know, this is every time something comes to us, and it's like a test of controlling emotions.
Yeah.
Because you can be upset about it, but why are you're happy? You're saying you're cheerful. You're letting this
Affect
stupid
you.
affect. Yeah, and ultimately it's not affecting him. It's affecting you.
well, I was
mostly.
thinking his perspective. I was like, he probably doesn't want to work here. He's probably some like 25-year-old actor like
Yeah.
working at it.
But but also like this is the thing though, you're right though, like and sometimes and that's what I'm saying, like I pride myself on being able to regulate my emotions, and yesterday I just
Trust me, it's the hardest thing.
And to be fair, they did say like, well, there's other tables, but the thing is the other tables were half in the sun, and I did not want to sit in the sun. So,
Especially if you're Desi, you cannot sit in the sun.
so I was also very particular
You sound
about.
so Persian right there. Like, I want this.
I didn't. I'm
Is that a
very-
Persian thing too?
Nobody wants to sit. Dude, no Indian ever wants to sit in the sun.
I mean, I
Nobody
do
wants
like to sit in the sun sometimes, but I was just in a mood to like cozy up, read my book, enjoy a glass of wine, like I was sitting in my backyard or something, you know, and I just had that vibe in my mind. But when they asked me to move twice, to your point, the energy was already off because I was
Yeah.
agitated.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I thought about it. I was like, if I stay here, I'm just going to continue to be annoyed. So then I chose to pick my belongings up and leave. And then I went to a lovely coffee shop downstairs and sat in the courtyard.
And then I lit their restaurant on fire, and then I went to the coffee shop across the street.
And I was actually really nice to the people
Yeah.
at the coffee shop. Like I was really surprised at how quickly my mood changed just by changing my setting and not being around that atmosphere. Like I went into the coffee shop. They were really patient with my question about like, you know, which coffee should I get? You know, yes,
Now
I'm
you
not
mean
person.
extra nice.
And they were
I got a
like,
whole thing on that person too, man. Next episode.
I am that person. They were really nice about that. And then like when the girl who made my coffee, I could see she was putting the black lava salt on with love. And then I gave her a
With love?
compliment. Yes, I could tell because she was like
Not like the
slowly
rest
Like
of you
lesbians?
guys.
brushing it. She was like slowly putting it, sprinkling it. And then I was like, oh, I love your nose ring. She's like, oh, thank you. That means so much to me. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, you're welcome. You know?
Now you guys were
and then,
overdoing
yeah, and then my,
BFFs.
and then my
You're like, all right.
Okay.
but I thought that too because when I was walking out, I was like, "Wow, were you overcompensating
Yeah.
for being earlier?" And
Yeah.
now you're like, "You look so great."
But you were doing what Robert Greene says. You were skillfully navigating that situation. Like that's all, right?
Walk
Like,
away
you-
from
like that's
the-
literally all he talks about is like. So this person is asking you to move the table, and then it's happening twice. Now in his book, his examples are just something like this. Like you would never want to do this, but yet people do this all the time, and it boggles my mind. Is like you have a bad experience at a restaurant, and then people start saying stuff to the waiter or whatever, like, look, man, like, blah, 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 like, I ordered this, man, yeah, da, da, da. And then you say, oh, these guys are fucking stupid here. I'm just thinking, you're going to get spit, you're going to get fucking pubic hair in your food now. I used to work, we worked behind a restaurant at the same time.
Yeah,
You know
we
what
did.
goes on behind there.
Where did you guys work?
No
we
names
can't
from
know.
We
me.
worked at a fancy restaurant.
And what did you put in their food?
No, I didn't put anything. I wasn't the
I never
cook.
put
But I
anything.
do know that if somebody was insulting somebody, like stuff's going on in the back, man. Like you cannot get away with insulting people and then think that they're not going to do anything back to you.
Yeah.
That's what Robert Greene is saying. Is like
Yes.
he's just saying you don't need to tell that guy what you really think because he has power over you.
Okay, so I'm sure there's already a book written about this, but is there a book about the power of positivity?
You know, I was going to suggest that. There's a
Yes.
softer book called Dale Carnegie. It's like a softer version
Oh, yes.
of like
how to make friends in
but
LA.
I remember one of the
make
chapters
people-
was smiling, and that can make a huge difference in your life. And I remember I worked at a big talent agency, and one of the partners, board members, I remember him telling his assistant, "This book has changed my life, the way I work with clients." All of us have this energy thing, and it can reflect back to you.
Yeah,
For
100%. But I feel like, I mean, sometimes some of these books I feel like just state common sense to me.
Yeah.
Was your book
Because
Ritu?
you know the title.
I know. I don't want to reveal it. But you can plug it here when you write it.
When
But also,
there's
you-
something there.
You know what
You gotta
I
tell us
think
now.
it's
You gotta
another what a big thing I think that's that I'm kind of like trying to work with and see, like projection. You know, how we project our whatever, our what
Emotions
we think
onto another person.
and and like always like that. I feel like it's a big thing that we battle with, humans do.
Yes.
In general, projection. That's like big because that
Being
always
fully yourself.
creates
Is that what you're saying? Like what do you
like
mean?
I noticed not only yes I'm strong
Or
maybe
projecting
but
your voice? I'm confused.
everyone project like
know.
whatever you feel like. For example, going back to communication with text messages, like you know you're reading something into something that you don't know what the other person is really thinking, but you're putting all this thing in there, like, oh, is this what he's thinking? Is that what or you know what's going on? Or even like, you know, like you were saying how the guy from the coffee shop was like, I don't know, can be raspberry, and then that's a sort of projection, right?
Yeah.
Because you're getting upset at him for him not giving the same love back like you or niceness that you were.
No,
to
just know
love.
what you're
Niceness,
selling.
You
That's
were
all I'm asking.
expecting that.
Being a dick, I don't care.
I
Just
was
know,
like, I don't need your love. I just need you to know what
and
you're
then
selling.
Yeah.
what
sir.
happens is
Yeah.
you taking it personal. And
Yes.
that's projection, right? You
Yes.
taking it personal. If we just control emotions and not let
Yeah.
that affect us, that's gonna take us so much more further
The
because our mind gets so trapped into.
I love that you brought up projection because I literally wrote an essay of a text message to somebody about how I was projecting my own insecurities onto them. So you were asking like about projection, right? Sometimes we're also, yes, we're projecting a certain emotion we're feeling onto somebody else. And sometimes we're also projecting our own unresolved emotional baggage and issues onto somebody else.
Right.
I think we're doing it all day long.
Always,
I do it all day long.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. All
I'm
day.
doing it right now. But the thing is like, it's not sometimes. Everybody's
it's
doing it
all
all day
the
long.
time.
The thing is for the minor stuff, it's like you don't need it. Like she's absolutely right. Hedi's right. For this scone thing, like blueberry thing,
We don't. Yeah.
yeah, you don't need it. Like it's
it
just
was a
negative
muffin.
energy.
Let's be clear about this. It was a muffin.
Huh?
It was a muffin.
Okay,
Let's be
for
clear
the
about
muffin
this.
thing, you don't need it. But
Yeah.
like the bigger stuff, you do. Like I'm not gonna stand there and be walking around at night and then see an alley and then walk into that alley and then see some dude going like this, doing some stuff and say, I'm not gonna make any opinions on this guy.
Yeah.
I cannot make any opinions on this guy because that's judgmental. It's this. I need to walk through this no. I'm gonna make
Yeah.
a judgment and I'm gonna project and say I'm scared and I'm not going down this way and I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude. Like, it's perfectly fine. You need it, again, to navigate situations in life.
Especially when you're doing a podcast, you got to navigate.
Tarun trying to navigate himself out of this conversation.
Oh my God, this podcast, I swear to God, I think all of you have made some great points about just living in general. But we got some new voices for our viewers at home. Hedi, where can we find you?
Voices. What do you mean?
I mean, you're
I
new in
love
the
it.
podcast. Where can people who are watching this podcast find you on social media?
Oh, okay. Yes. On my head in the clouds.
Oh, I love that. It's so cute.
Is that Instagram? What is
My
that?
Instagram. Yeah, I have also website homesbyhedi.com.
You can find me at Ritu Talks, and that's more like my personal lifestyle page. And you can also find me at my newly relaunched IG page, which is Wellness with Ritu. My belief is living life playfully, passionately, and purposefully. So if that resonates with you, happy to work with you.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Rana. It's just I am Rana. Same thing on TikTok. Yeah, not on there much, but it's just the same stuff. If you guys want to see more ranting and nonsense, go there.
Excellent. Hey, well, thanks for coming by. I appreciate all of you. And thank you for checking in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you want to sponsor an episode, please reach out and we will see you guys next. Oh, yeah. Find me, whatever. Find me on Instagram. Find me somewhere. Have a good day. Take care.